7. And can we rise and pledge allegiance to the flag? Here, I'll take block with my marker boxes.
There.
Leave it proudly.
There you go.
God bless them.
All right, you be good.
It's been a while. I had it all saved up for tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need, I think we need to change the agenda. Mayor Dwyer is supposed to be joining us. So if he comes, I would like to put him up front on the agenda.
And my library certificate is not sticking.
My what?
The library certificate is not.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to be flexible for public guests.
That's a good way to do it. Do we
I
have a
second that, yes.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, we have a unanimous vote of,
Are we able to? Because-
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, TV. There you go.
Yes,
Yes,
she
good
said,
for-
I'm pretty sure she's coming. Because we were in contact before. The minutes? Diane?
Excuse me.
All right, the minutes were sent out to all and there were no objections or corrections or omissions, so I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from September's meeting.
Okay, we have a second. Susan seconds, all in favor? And you-
Right.
Okay, Casey abstains, so we have 1,
I did
2,
read them.
3, 4, 5,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. One abstention.
and 1 abstention. Thank you very much. I needed that. All right, public comment. Do we have anybody in the audience who would like to make a public comment? No? All right. Director's report. We're really moving right along here.
Yeah. Okay. I know we kind of already touched upon this, but I just wanted to kind of bring it home and wrap some things up with around the world. As you know, we had our end party in September. We had over 55 people attend. It was great. It had games and live music from different countries, food from different local restaurants representing different cultures. We drew the raffle winner, so that was great. Some interesting stats I wanted to share was that we did have participation across the board. So we had about 75 children, which is something we've never asked them to do before. Read, watch, or listen to something and share that they actually did it. So like they had to fill out this little form where they said, yes, I read or I watched something and this is what I thought of it. And they did it. And they, same thing with the teens. The participation was a little low in terms of how many people actually participated. There were only 2 teens that did the read, watch, listen. But they submitted, between those 2 people, they submitted 54 of those little comment sheets. So they sustained it, 2 teens.
Wow.
So that was exciting.
So just
The
2
2
teams.
teens did those 54 things. Yeah. And then 23 teens participated, unique teens participated in our programming. 78 children participated in our programming and 57 adults participated in our programming. So there was the momentum, I think, for the series. So we were excited about that. In my report, you'll note that we are still looking for someone to fix the board popped off again. That got fixed from last year. So we're currently looking for someone to fix that. Hopefully quick fix.
Let me just tell you, I had a discussion one morning with Tony over coffee.
Yeah.
And he said, probably nobody's going to want to touch that because he says, if you touch it, you own it.
Yeah.
So unless you can get somebody, I think, to sign off in
Yeah.
some way,
Right.
that might be the only way we're going to get it addressed.
Yeah.
I was
So
in touch with 5 Star.
they never came.
They did come.
Oh, they
They
did?
came that night.
Oh,
and he
okay.
took pictures. and
Yeah.
everything. So he's gonna send a proposal.
Oh, that's good. Okay. All
So
right.
it's in work.
All right. The front of the building, also all the ivy was successfully removed. Unfortunately, with the power washing, it damaged some of the bricks paint. So it's a little dull.
It was already painted.
Yes. So it was a little dulled. So now for a quote to get it painted again. And then once that happens, we'll do planting in front. But I think it's a huge improvement from what we had. It just looks so much cleaner.
Oh, it really.
I know, right? Doesn't it look so much
I
better?
can't believe it. I never noticed the
Oh
other.
my God, it drove
I
me
can't believe
crazy.
you didn't notice
No,
this.
it drove me crazy. I'm so glad.
Behind the rose bush.
Yes.
It was,
It was
but it's not.
creeping all across the lake front. Yeah,
I have to go to the look.
yeah, yeah. Oh, you raise your hand like you have it.
No.
Oh, okay. The lighting, so the lighting project is happening November 18th and 19th. So what's gonna happen is Monday and Tuesday, you approved last month that we can close the library. So Monday and Tuesday, they're gonna be doing the front part of the building. We're gonna reopen Wednesday afternoon like we normally do, and they'll be doing teens and children Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it will be closed to the public, but we can retrieve items for them if they want to come and get something like a Switch game or something like that. We'll be able to, but I don't want them back here while people are
Yeah.
whatnot. So I'm excited about that. I've been in touch with the lighting company and they submitted the rebates to O&R, so we'll get the lighting rebate. I'm excited about that.
I don't know what's in there, but did you get the notice from Steve?
I did, yeah. So it's not a, I mean, it is sort of,
Kind
but
of.
kind of.
Yes.
So our construction aid was pretty much approved. Our CLS reviewed it, they moved it forward, and it's gonna go for review again, through the DLD, and then it'll get moved on to DASNY. But he told me like, he's like, maybe one time he's ever seen it not, get approved through the state.
This
So
is Steven.
with Stephen, yeah, so we pretty much got,
We got it for 50%.
we did,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we got 50% of the project.
Great,
That's
wow.
what 66,000.
It
2,000?
was, yeah.
Yes,
something
I
like
think
that,
we're
yeah.
getting back like 31 or 33,000.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's exciting. But I'm excited for that because I think it's gonna make a world of difference with browsing and
Yeah.
aesthetics, so that's great. The camera upgrade, it's gonna take a little longer because of parts and scheduling. So I'm guessing that that's not gonna happen until late December, early January, which is fine, you know, so that's in the works. We are currently still in the process of trying to hire an IT person and a maintenance person. Mary and I had an interview today with someone who was very promising. We have
For
one more
IT?
for IT.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have one more interview on Friday, and after that, we will make a decision.
This is for the
This is
IT
for
person.
IT, yes. We have not had any luck with
Right.
maintenance.
I read
Good
that,
question
yeah.
with the maintenance.
Yeah.
Would you, and I think we talked about it previously, you were
Mhm.
looking for someone who's like showing up between this hour and this hour. And like someone who's
Right.
on the clock type of
Yeah.
person. Would you be open to opening it up to someone who has more flexibility? Like someone, if you provided them a list, like this needs to get fixed, this needs to get done, this needs to get done. And then they come in on the after hours, you know?
I
because-
don't want a single person in the building by themselves. I think it's a safety issue.
Understood.
With the cleaning people, it's different because it's supposed to be a team. It's supposed to be two people in the building at the same time at a specific set time, not just random
I was
hours.
gonna say, I'm
whatever
pretty sure I
they
scared the quits out of that one lady
Oh,
when she was
right.
there by
Yeah,
herself.
no, but like it's supposed to be a team, you know what I mean? And I just think yeah, I think it's a safety issue.
It's insurance.
Yeah, exactly. And
Something
I think this gives us a lot of more control about like staying on top of things, getting cleaned. You know, if we had someone here more frequently, they could clean the bathrooms every single day. They could get like work through the building, get more dusting done.
Yes.
Today, I had to stop what I was doing to put furniture together. Like they could be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put that furniture together. You know what I mean? So there's an advantage of having someone here
Oh, yeah.
more frequently. So yes, it's a little bit of an investment, but I think it's worth it in the end.
So would you like us to vote on that?
I don't know if you need to. I'm not sure how that works. I don't
You don't think so?
know.
No, I think
I mean,
positions are, people are
Right.
employees of you.
correct.
You decide.
Right, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention that I'm looking to increase the hours of that position so that I can make it more attractive.
Yes.
And in doing so, it would be letting the cleaning company go.
Right.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would need to come to us is if there was a budget reallocation.
Well, I mean,
I just mean a formalized.
right, so it would be an increase in the budget. It's an increase in the budget.
So is it an increase or is it reallocation? Because if you're getting rid of Jam Pro.
It's
you're
still gonna be
gonna-
more.
Okay,
it's still gonna be more.
6,000.
It's like 6,000 more. And if they decide, and I said 6,000 plus, because if they decide to contribute to the 401k, then that's gonna be an additional cost on our end because we match up to 12%.
Mm.
So
Wow.
I can't say like an exact number until I hire them, but it's gonna be a union position. Yeah.
Where's it being advertised?
It hasn't, also, right now, we advertise it on our website, we advertise it on Indeed, we advertise it in the photo news online, we advertise it in the photo news print, and we really have no success.
This is
Just
with the
union
part-time
house.
This is
job.
with the
Yeah.
part-time maintenance, I mean, it's still
Yeah.
gonna be a part-time position, it's just more hours.
Does the union have
And-
like an open house where they have people who are like on roster that they might suggest that are already in the union?
I don't know if it works that way. I mean, I can
That's how it
reach
works with the
out,
carpenters.
yeah, I guess, I mean, I could reach out, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It
it doesn't
sounds,
work that way.
no, because CWA is a specific union, it's a communications union, so,
Yeah.
right.
I
You
mean,
need somebody to fix the
carpenter
phone.
unions, so
Right, yeah, yeah. So
So we would need to vote on it, right?
I guess, yeah,
Yes.
So we are voting on it now.
I guess.
Well,
I
that
mean,
was what I thought, if it
I-
was an allocation of funds
Right.
or we're
Yep.
increasing,
Yes,
So we vote on like the increase in the budget of $6,419 approximately in order to be able to, is that how that works?
So technically, I guess. We're not moving it from a different line item, so the offset would have to be from. the
Well, you would-
appropriations.
well, no, so what you would be doing is you would be allocating it from cleaning, from buildings and grounds
In part,
into
Partially.
Partially,
into
correct.
salaries. And then it would be just a little bit of an increase from
right,
there,
so then
right,
the other part of the increase in order to balance. With
Right.
With the income side, it would have
Right.
to be out of, I think, net assets appropriated. Or whatever that line.
I mean,
for
I think
employees.
honestly, I mean, to be honest, we always talk about our budget being a living document, right? I think we could take a look at that and see, at the end of the day, if that really even needs to be,
Oh, it-
right,
it
because
might-
like,
Might not need to,
Right.
usually we end 60,000 a buffer,
right,
so it might not, we
exactly,
might not need to increase necessarily.
right,
Yes, absolutely.
yes,
So I think, yeah, I don't think we need to vote on it tonight necessarily, but,
no, but you're okay with me moving forward to advertise for
oh,
it?
absolutely.
Okay,
well, then why not vote on it tonight, so we have it.
So you need the exact dollar.
exact dollar,
Oh,
amount.
okay.
I mean, I have a rough estimate,
Or rough estimate.
I have a rough
Excuse me,
estimate,
I should rephrase that too, it might not even be necessary, so I'd rather have the full impact.
right,
And we look at how we are trend wise, because trend wise, when I was gonna bring it up in
yeah,
financials, we're exactly where we should be. The end of the September financials were actually about 5% behind the total.
right,
So I think our overall right now, which keep in mind has forward advance payments for insurance and obviously less fees,
right,
puts us at 70.3 roughly, whereas we're 75% of the year.
and that big line for buildings and grounds for the,
For the construction and stuff,
correct,
we'll get
right,
offset.
we'll get offset as
Now, the
well.
question is whether we're gonna get offset before December 31st, because otherwise
Right.
that offset will come in next year's.
Well, so technically that should be coming from capital funds too. Right now, it's just reflecting in our current buildings and ground
Oh, then we
budget.
absolutely
Right.
should also pull that out of there, put it off of capital, because that's,
But
it messed up an annual
Mary-
report for some things.
Mary spoke with Dina and she said that's where it should be allocated.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, or when the audit is, she'll make a journal entry noting that
Right.
that should really be coming from capital funds. But she said we should park it in
Yeah.
building and grounds.
Okay.
Yeah,
what
that's
she-
exactly what Dean
If that's
said.
what she
Right.
said, then that's fine, but we just have to be mindful of that for year end.
Exactly.
Because what happened, there was another library during this whole construction grant element, or it was either construction grant or one of the other allocated line fees. That the library saw like a 59% increase in their allocated fees because they had a whole bunch of expenses sitting on their annual report that should have been out of their capital fund, but was actually coming out of operating.
Hmm.
So it looked as though the library had more expenses than they did. So they allocated more of a fee structure. to it.
And all of this is why we count on you.
Well, Casey, this is
Well
why
said.
we talked about moving it to like an asset.
Hmm.
And I spoke to Dean about that. I said, I put it in the assets. And then she said, well, no, I wouldn't do it that way. I would wait till the end of the year and I'll make the adjustment.
Joanne,
Right,
Joanne,
Jill.
Joanne. Could you?
I'm sorry.
I was thinking.
So if we combine the two together, and that
Right.
one person now leaves the library, who's cleaning the bathroom until we hire somebody?
Good point.
say it again, so. Right.
If we combine the cleaner
Right,
and the maintenance, and that person leaves, who's cleaning the bathrooms?
we hire somebody temporarily, I mean,
What if we
there's,
can't get anybody?
I mean,
I'm
what are we
just-
gonna,
I'm
right, I
just
understand, no, I understand
saying.
what you're saying, but I mean,
Huh.
I
It's
get that.
something to consider.
I think we'd be able to hire someone. I feel confident that we'd be able to hire a temporary something or the other.
Temporary service.
Right, a temporary
Yeah.
service until we can
Yeah.
replace them. Yeah,
I was gonna say the
Or
existing
temp
cleaners.
cleaning service?
correct.
Mm.
Yeah, some type of temp cleaning service, right, for like 2 months or something.
Well, the
whatever.
bottom line is we've had no success going this route.
Correct.
So what are our options? The only option is to do what Amanda is suggesting, in my opinion. And it's gonna cost us some more money, but we should get better service, so,
So,
and that's important, because when the patrons come in, you want,
clean space.
yeah, you want clean space.
How often
You-
do the cleaners come up?
You want it to be
3 times a
inviting and.
Well, our cleaners, they haven't changed their prices in a long time. Right, I'm just concerned, well, when you brought that up now, if a person were to leave, we would not get the same price that we have now
For what, Mary?
For
for the
cleaning.
cleaning
Is
company.
there any sort of?
Oh,
More
if
likely,
we
at the end
had-
of for the temporary service, you're gonna be paying a
You're
little
gonna,
more.
right,
Yeah.
Anyways, no matter what.
yeah.
Does it make sense for us to discuss maybe
When somebody
locking in a
comes up
rate
and
with
grabs-
them as a backup?
Tomorrow, that would be like
Right.
$300 or something like
Double
that.
pay.
Yeah, at least.
I don't know, I don't think they.
So what are you saying, Casey?
Either maintaining the relationship with the current cleaners, but cutting them back to only 1 day a week, or renegotiating a locked-in rate for backup. So like, we'll agree to pay you more per hour based on what we're currently paying, but only when we're qualified. Like, we'll lock in a futures rate.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're fired, but.
So, yeah.
But we wanna keep you on the bubble.
Fire me, I was like.
Yeah, that's kind of an awkward situation,
It is.
unless.
That way you maintain a relationship.
It's a
Sure, right.
sophisticated
Proposition for a cleaning service.
It may or
It's a
may not.
professional company, it's not like, it's not like a local, like, you know, out of your house kind of cleaning
Well,
people,
it's worth, it's worth, I
Well,
suppose
they-
it's worth discussing with them,
I guess.
and who knows if they'll come back and say,
Right,
we could do something else.
Maybe
right,
something that they do on a regular basis.
Right.
You know?
yeah, maybe.
You know?
I haven't read any of the ads. Is there anything in the qualifications that maybe we could change that would make it?
I don't think so. I
That's
think,
why I'd asked about.
I
Big
think
stuff and
people just
cleanup.
aren't looking for that
Excuse me.
part of a time anymore. It's not a lot of hours, it's 20 hours.
Cleaning and, maintaining
Yeah.
other
Project.
equipment, like
Right.
putting stuff together and moving stuff
Yeah.
around and.
So
Yeah.
it's 30 hours bi-weekly?
Well, it's 20 hours bi-weekly now, so
Right.
it's like nothing.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to go
nothing.
to
Oh,
30
yeah.
hours.
Right.
It's a 15 hours.
Yeah,
a
my
week.
father-in-law said he'd do it, but he wouldn't punch a clock.
Yeah,
What?
He wouldn't punch a clock. He goes, give me a list of things to do. I'll get it done, but I'm not punching a clock.
right.
Okay.
Is
So,
it 30 hours
We
a
can come
week
to my
or
bi-weekly.
30 bi-weekly?
the new one,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
proposing 60.
By doing it.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Oh, so it's 30
Okay,
hours a week?
The
I
new
think,
position.
I
would be
think we're
30
losing
hours
it,
a week.
people. We want to keep on track
Some
here.
of us have already lost.
So, it's early on. This is an important
Right.
discussion.
It is.
I think, now we're
If we-
saying that
but-
we're going to advertise the job for 30 hours a week.
Correct.
With, what was the salary, 30,000,
It was $18 an hour.
which
at
comes
30
out
hours a
to,
week. It's like 28,000 a year.
and how would the, time be apportioned? So many days,
4 to
hours a
5
day.
days a week. It would,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
28,000 before.
before
you know,
taxes
taxes and
and
benefits.
benefits and all that, right.
Benefits are really good.
Right,
Kicks in.
yeah. So,
So what are you saying, Casey, that we shouldn't go ahead and do anything now until we check with the budget? We shouldn't make any
So
movement on
there's
it?
two pieces that are budget. I have no problem with Amanda moving forward with the plan by any means. I think it's a good one to do. I think there are a couple of moving pieces related to the budget. Number one, which was a great point, which was backup and what that's gonna
Right.
cost. Number two is
That's
if we still can't find someone and now she has to offer $20 an hour, are we gonna change the budget again? Are we gonna change the budget with another vote? Let's find the person first, get a viable
Good point.
candidate. And
Yeah.
then we'll lock down the budget aspect, but for now, I think we can, because again, as Amanda said, we may be trending light on our expenses and we may not need a budget vote because we're not changing the total. We're
right,
just
Okay.
merely reallocating across
Okay.
buckets, which happens all the time with us. Right now, you can see that I mean, aside from buildings and grounds being above where we should be in the year based on just trend line, because of other expenses that are sitting there that are gonna get moved that we just discussed.
right,
Sometimes we run over on one thing, but we run under on
Right.
something else. Professional development was over, which is great. Really glad everyone's
Yes.
working on
Right.
development. So we're gonna take it out of something else,
yeah,
but we're not voting to change the budget just yet because there's still flexibility. There's still
Okay.
Yeah.
room with it.
All right, so the idea is you're going to move forward with it. You're gonna put an ad in the paper
okay,
for the amount, whatever.
Okay.
And after that, we'll take a vote on it and decide what we're gonna offer. And if we don't get any hits, then we're gonna have to offer more, like you said.
Yep, and that's why we don't need to change the budget until we have to change the budget.
All right,
For now, it's an
Great.
operational matter until it's.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
all right,
Okay.
moving right along.
Moving on, Mayor Dwyer is not here, but I will discuss this with you guys. We have been collecting complaints about the 3 spots, in front of the library. Since, September 16th, we've received 59 complaints from patrons who have come into the building and have, expressed their displeasure with the 3 spots being metered and their frustrations with the kiosks. CERC has been so gracious to keep track of that. Thank you. But it's important, you know, in the beginning, and in case you can attest to us, the signage is terrible. And it got to the point where we put a sign on the door that says, "Did you pay the meter?" Because people are not aware that they even have to pay
Yeah.
the kiosk or have to pay the kiosk because it goes into a sleep mode because it's solar powered. So some people think that it's not even working and they don't pay like my husband did, and then they end up getting a ticket. So there's a lot of complications to that, and people are starting to notice, and they're frustrated because some of them are popping in quick and then they have to fumble with coins and apps and etc. So it is frustrating, and I was hoping that he would be here. Maybe he'll still
Yeah.
come, but you know, it's a concern.
Well, I think especially for anybody who's trying to wrangle a couple of small children to come into the program, that's just like how many, it's like literally like juggling,
Yeah.
except that you've got a child there, and
Right.
it's so easy to lose track of a small child, especially if there's more than one. And
Yeah, good
we've
point.
been attracting a lot into our children's programs,
Right.
and I think it's gonna hurt.
I agree.
And I know I live with a person who, if he has to pay to park, he goes somewhere else.
Right. Get that.
And I've been saying for years that you shouldn't have to pay to use the library.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something un-American about that. I'm sorry.
We send
Well, we
a
always
letter
did.
to Mayor Dwyer
So-
since he didn't come.
I did have a very productive conversation with him,
You had a post. Facebook.
which is why we had that
What did you
conversation.
say,
know.
Diane?
Yes, we know.
I know.
So I, as respectfully as I could, posted on Monroe Matters, not in my capacity as a board member, but as my capacity as a taxpayer. That, you know, I had expressed frustration and urged Mayor Dwyer and the rest of the council to explore other means of, you know, trying to address whatever problem it was, because this isn't about money. It's not like parking in this town is a big money maker. If anything,
Right.
it runs at a loss. You know, Mayor Dwyer did express to me in our conversation that, you know, like some of the things that we talked about, how it drives business away from downtown,
Yeah.
how, you know, a lot of those concerns. He went out and did his own study. And I, you know, I don't know to what extent, I don't want to speak on his behalf, but he had said that he had done his own study where he went out and checked a few cars that were on the street, and then a few hours later checked, and it was the same cars, and then they went to the businesses. It turns out it was the owners of the store, of the businesses themselves that were parking right in front of their own stores, leaving the cars there all day. So he was saying that a lot of this was in order to foster different behavior in the town, and that he feels that this is about re-educating the public and creating new habits and getting people used to driving themselves towards those pay stations, and people have to just get used to the change. And in the meantime, maybe we can explore a grace period or something else. He was also working with, I think, other people from the town and the communications department to do a PSA and some sort of like an education program about like the solar panels and what to do if something's not working. I had expressed frustration that in my opinion, it wasn't even up to code, that there's not only is the signage hung incorrectly, so people who want to comply can't even, but handicap spots that are out on the street are still subject to the metering.
No, they're
No.
not.
And that, right, and that's what he expressed to me, and in my
Yeah.
post, I had said that, and so he took offense to it. We were able to, clarify the dialogue on all that, I think it was good. Ultimately, I think where we didn't bring the conversation, because I was hoping we could explore that idea here, is that if the town isn't willing, for the exact reasons that you just said, this is a public good.
Village,
you know,
right? This is
right.
a
It's the
village,
village,
this is all
it's the
village, yeah.
Agreed, the library shouldn't be, a pay for service in that regard. We're already taking taxpayer dollars. You want to get more taxpayer dollars for them to walk in the door. It's, it's like kicking the horse twice. I think that if the town isn't willing to take it on the chin for these, because he even said that he has been paying, there's been a couple of instances where people who received tickets here got upset and went to the council, and he paid them out of pocket. And I said, that's really nice of you, but the mayor paying all the
Doesn't
tickets in the
fix
town
all the
doesn't fix the problem. So he was thinking, which again, I appreciate the graciousness, but it just doesn't fix the root of the issue. So if the town won't donate the spots, I think we need to talk to the town about potentially sponsoring those spots. That it's for library use or whatever. It may become problematic if we end up having to police those spots to make sure that patrons are using them. But again, it's,
Have to start
My-
somewhere.
exactly.
My recommendation is that they turn those spots into 15 or 30-minute parking, as Melanie suggested. He is walking that path anyways, up and down, doing tickets. He could chalk the tires.
Right,
And
exactly.
then he can come on his way back. Oh, they're still here?
Yep.
All right, now you get a ticket. And that's
Right,
it. Like,
right.
we do offer curbside. So there was a woman who was pretty upset on minimum matters, and I don't like to respond, but I did. And I expressed to her that, I'm sorry that you're frustrated. We're trying to work it out. And we do offer curbside where you can come right to the door of the library and we'll bring out your item. So we'll see. I don't know. The mayor tried to explain to me his reasoning, but it really didn't make any sense to me. He's basically saying that, well, if we take those 3 spots away, people are just gonna sit there all day. But that hasn't been our experience. People are not sitting in those 3 spots all day. They're using them for quick pickup and drop off, maybe 10, 15 minutes. Drop off.
Was the business.
Businesses, if I own a business and I park my car in front of my business, which might be because I had to load or unload things or I'm tired at the end of the day and I just want to get in my car and go. I don't see why a behavior modification of that should be required.
Right.
I frankly, I don't understand the whole
Yeah.
philosophy of having done this, and I do think it's probably hurtful to the businesses.
Were they consulted before these changes?
We were not consulted. We were not aware that those were gonna become metered spots. There
Are these
no
spots on
longer.
there?
I was
Are metered?
There's 3 spots in front of the library now. Those
Are
3
metered?
spots
Are
are
metered?
metered now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you there now?
I jumped onto a Zoom call with 200 people in my organization, and as I was walking out of the library after signing the checks, getting onto this call, I see the cop taking my car, and I'm like,
Oh.
what's going on? And now all these 200 people are hearing me getting a ticket outside of the.
What was it, 200 people?
I was on a business call.
People go to the cleaners for what, all of not
Right,
even 5 minutes?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta walk to wherever the
Mhm.
thing.
Right.
I like to
It's-
get takeout from the Japanese restaurant around the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, sure.
They were not as frequent, you know, of giving out tickets. Now they're like on it all the
Until when?
time.
Yeah.
Really, till they,
Till six.
oh, they
Last
go
month.
till 6.
First month
Yeah.
they gave out like 500 tickets, but they could have given out 900.
So-
Yeah.
Do we need to draft a
$25
letter
ticket.
to
Yeah,
send
right.
to Mayor Dwyer to further this conversation with him?
Well, I think so, but I also, and I was gonna get to that in a minute, but I also think we need to go to a board meeting.
Yeah.
And we need to, because the public needs to know that we are concerned and that we're discussing it, because I don't
Good
think they
point.
think that.
And
I
that
think you're
was
right.
what I completely agree with you,
Right.
and that was one of the things that I discussed with Mayor Dwyer. And it was a very, like, I want to say, it was a very amicable, very nice, productive conversation. One of the things that he said is everyone is so quick to say whatever they want on No Matters or on Facebook, but nobody, he has had one person
1%.
go up to a council meeting
Yeah.
to complain
Complain.
about this. 500 tickets is
Well, you know
one
what?
person.
Let us
There
let
are
us
companies
know.
that are complaining.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told him. I said, you've got a lot of people who don't, I don't even know when the town council meets because I live in the town. I don't know when the village council meets.
Right. Well, the next meeting is November 4th, which I was invited to present my idea on putting a story walk in Airplane Park. So I will be presenting that, but I would be,
Is that the village?
That's the
And that's the
village.
element here is that we
What
do
time
have
is
a nice
that?
productive,
7.
collaborative relationship
Yeah.
with the village. We want to maintain that. at the same time.
November third.
Yeah.
November 4th.
What
Is that a
time?
Monday?
Yeah.
Which is also
Within
why,
the
and I
block.
made it very clear to Mayor Dwyer, like, this was not me in my library capacity.
Yeah.
Like, we have a great relationship in the
Yeah.
library capacity. As a taxpayer, I'm very frustrated.
Right.
Yeah.
As somebody that got ticketed in front of 200 people.
They are. I've spoken to a few and they're pretty upset about it. So, you know, I think something has to be done though with our spots.
Well, they're
So-
apparently
Spots
gonna
are
Get
spend
to the point.
$30,000 on more
2 more
kiosks.
kiosks. They
And I
just
hope
find
that
2
at
more.
least if they do that, that they're gonna have the same zone. I'm saying this because I had this experience, yeah, I had that
Careful.
experience in Ramsey.
Mhm.
I have a restaurant I love going to there.
It's a great city.
And, well, no, it's Dim Sum Dynasty.
Mm.
And I went with a friend and I had to, the parking is tight in that town and I parked the car. And I'm like, oh, I already have this app on my phone from Florida. And I put it in and I got a ticket. And because of COVID, I was a Zoom. They said, well, you used the wrong zone number. You used the zone number from across the street.
Oh, my God.
Oh, for God's sake.
Horrible.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they said, we'll let you slide this time. And PS, COVID or not, and I haven't gone back to Ramsey because it's just a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
they really discourage people. And especially a lot of people don't know how to use those apps.
Yeah, yeah.
Not only that, but when you put out these QR codes for these parking apps. the
Yeah,
thing is
oh,
that's a
yeah.
high risk of
Very
security.
nice.
Is that right?
Because somebody can put a tab over
Yeah.
top of it or a skimmer, which is another issue where the thing that attaches to the front where the card reader is, you put the card in, you can skim your card number, and it's very, very small, and a lot of people don't notice it, so.
Yeah.
Those QR codes, essentially,
Yeah.
it can either bring you to a website or it can automatically download a file onto your device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
if you
boy.
launch that file, if it says PDF and you're like, oh, okay, let me click it and read the instructions, it launches an executable file
Virus
on your
or
phone
something.
and takes all your information.
Yeah.
'Cause I guarantee you, we've all got. our
Stay away from
credit
QR
cards,
codes.
So I'm a
No, I
little-
don't.
So is it the case that, like, is parking so tight in downtown Monroe that
Right.
we need to have?
That was the
They're,
question.
yeah, they're acting like it is, that it's
I've
never,
Right
never
here,
hard.
those spots.
Well, that's.
No, I mean at all.
No, they're acting like it's hard to park there and you can't get in and you can't pop in and out. And so because of all the business owners and the business employees parking, that there's never a spot and people are complaining and this and that, but I mean, I
Never
can
is
speak for
security.
them.
Because if there's never a spot in front of Amendolas, I mean, like.
Right.
when you
We're
run
now
that
also
store-
parking here in the free area on the side here meant
Yeah.
for the movie theater. So now the
Yeah.
movie theater,
Yeah.
everyone has to pay 3 hours to park to go see a movie.
Not true, because the spots from the movie theater forward are free.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's from the movie
And the
theater.
other thing
free.
I wouldn't even
Oh,
know
yeah.
because the signage is all facing the
It's so
street instead of
bizarre
facing
signage.
as you pull.
Right,
So when you're coming on the street, instead of pulling up and seeing a sign, the sign is
You can't
parallel
see
with the
it.
street. So you would have to get out of your car and walk backwards and look this way
yeah,
to see that there was a sign that said.
Right,
you needed-
so-
Okay.
I want analysis now on how much revenue is raised previously versus now.
So that was one of the topics of conversation.
Right,
Because I
and,
don't imagine.
A patron actually told me that she foiled that information.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
So
that
we'll
was one of the
see.
conversations that.
Um, so I'd be
So
glad
it's not a
to,
revenue.
I'd be glad to discuss that at the board meeting on the 4th. But I feel like it's kind of in conflict with the presentation. It's
I
like,
agree.
Yeah, yeah.
so I don't know, November 4th. Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah, maybe somebody else could.
maybe.
This is in the building.
So I
override
think
Yes.
the
where
board-
the
I think you
clerks-
need somebody from the board to do it instead. And
agree.
I think even without your presentation, I think it's a good idea for somebody from the board to do it. Casey, you do it.
Happy to be there.
7
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah, because I'm
Already
gonna be
pissed
in
them off.
Florida.
You know, I
They
piss them off
do-
in person just-
They told for public comment till the end, so you'll
Okay.
have to wait. till the-
Yeah,
If I can help.
all
you.
right, so.
Yeah.
is
I've
there
seen
a
one of you to
plan?
help map me in
Yes.
communication.
Okay,
All right.
all right, we have a plan.
If I can ask someone to help me just draft the communication so I don't go off script like I tend to in a public forum on our behalf.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
asking for you guys to. raise-
Edit for you.
Okay. All right,
7
so
Seven.
can we move forward?
Yes, our proposition is on the ballot.
Yep.
It's there. We have our nice big sample ballot posted in the, above CERC, so that's great. RCLS ILS budget vote. I shared all of that information with you guys. As you know, it's, only a 1% increase from last year. So, yeah, I need you guys to vote and then Pat can sign and, I can send that out to RCLS.
Stephen
Okay.
gave us a full run through the budget at the RCLS meeting. All makes perfect sense. It's actually very, very flat.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, I'd like to,
That's also in large part due to how much benefit he's getting from the investment strategy that they've gotten. We're not eligible for it because we're not a public library,
yeah,
but the NILA, I think it's NILA.
yeah.
The NILA
Like
interest
the-
rates
The
that they're
New York
getting.
State interest rates or something, yeah.
He's,
Yeah.
they're- I mean, hand over
Niall's
fist. and
Niall's doing a
kudos-
phenomenal job.
Kudos
there.
to him, that he was able to get us into this program, and it's able to level set the expenses for everybody else.
Yeah.
which is great.
Okay, so I'd like to make a,
Motion. or something.
motion, thank you, my proposal isn't right. I'd like to make a motion that, the board, the Monroe Free Library Board accept the, RCLS 2025 budget as presented.
I'll second.
Casey seconds, all those in favor? All right, it's unanimous.
Great, thank you. Just a quick mention, there are some, 3 professional development offerings between October and November. For those of you who still need your professional development hours, if you look, those are all hyperlinked right to the registration, so, you know,
I did mine.
no, but RCLS will send me another report.
No, I already sent.
Okay.
Okay,
Accessibility grant, we applied for the accessibility grant. It's a two-way communication tablet where people who speak a different language can say what they need,
Yep.
and then it gets translated on the other side. We're waiting to hear back from RCLS about that. It should be soon. It was a fairly easy process, but like, we're looking forward to it.
Did we ever buy the additional Amazon Echo?
We did, except they discontinued that service.
Oh, get out of
They
here.
no longer do that. Yeah, because that was really,
Then I'm
that
glad we
was-
have a replacement for it.
That's really-
yeah. I wanted to mention, we are participating in a new fundraiser event. It's called Books for the Berg and Friends. It's happening at the Newburgh Brewery. It's us, Moffett, Newburgh, Cornwall, and Marlborough, and I think one more library. And basically, it's like an adult book fair, and then you donate children's books to different libraries. And we're slated to get about 60 brand new children's books, both in Spanish and in English. So it's a great event. There's no real anything for us to do on our end, just to promote it, which Elizabeth has been doing. I'm going to try and get over it. It's from 4 to 11 on November 14th.
the
Does
day
anything have
before we
food
come
that
back
hand
from
raised?
Florida.
No, that's my hand. That's
Oh,
my
that's your
mouth.
hand.
Yeah, that's my
And
mouth.
all these exciting things.
So we sent out our postcard to the new homeowners. So
Yep.
anyone that moved into Monroe in the last year received this postcard in the mail. It's just a friendly welcome to the neighborhood, all of our services, and then they can scan the QR code to sign up for a library card using our online application.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so we've
How
had a
many
few,
went out?
it was a few hundred,
Really?
and then we still have to do the Harriman lists because we're
Okay.
part of Harriman, so that's another, I think it's like another 80 or something. It wasn't a big number, but you know, it's something that's nice, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a nice little thing. Welcome to the neighborhood. So I'll pass it around
Yeah,
so you guys
do.
can check it out. And
I love the siren.
it's such a great picture. I love
Such a
that
great
picture. It's such a great
It's so
picture.
engaging. it brings
Yeah.
you in.
Yep.
Yes. I think that-
And
Where
then, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, where are we?
Yeah, sorry. And then we've been very fortunate that the photo news has been giving us so much space in the
Yes, they
newspaper.
have.
We've gotten press releases in, photos in the online and in the print version. Our ads have been in really great places. So kudos to Elizabeth for really cultivating that relationship. And then lastly, just two other things I wanted to mention was that I attended this thing called the Orange County Economic Summit, which I thought was kind of interesting
Was
to
that the one
learn.
in SUNY Orange?
It was at SUNY Orange the previous year. This year it was Mount St. Mary.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and it was just this great event where you're learning about like future trends in the workforce. It's all about the workforce this year. Every year they pick like a different theme. And I learned a lot about how the state supports career development, what trends they're looking for, what things they see in the workforce that's needed, digital literacy skills, which is great because we're already like dabbling with that. Mike has been really great offering all those digital literacy programs, computer programs, which are currently getting revamped because attendance was low, but we're going to continue with them in some form because we know that digital literacy skills are so important. But I learned a lot about some of the resources that they offer and some of the trends coming up. So I'm hoping to maybe collaborate with the county in some additional ways, getting some programming here related to future workforce trends. One cool thing that they're doing is these VR sets, these career VR sets where you can learn about a career path like truck driving. And it's a simulator and you actually can see if it's a job for you. And some libraries are working with their career development county and they're offering a certificate where you can do it right through the library. So, I mean, I don't know, but it's something worth exploring. I think if anything, it's furthering our connections to support the community.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the job trends. Yeah.
And it's so important because they're having so much trouble trying to find people for the trades.
So we're.
Yeah, they
So,
said
New
that
York
one of the
too.
big trends coming up was aircraft. Because they're putting a lot of money into Stewart Airport and they're
Oh.
gonna need a lot of aviation workers. And it's not a real popular career path. It's not like something that people think to do. So,
And they should be good jobs.
right,
Yeah.
so,
There, but they're very slow.
right,
They're
so
very
it was,
focused and
Yeah.
location, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, which is
Glad.
fine if you're a person who fits into that niche.
Yeah. so as always, I have,
Military.
right.
So it's the dad, I used to work with those guys, so should not be working there.
As always, I have comments from the public that I'd like to share. I love the library. It's amazing. It has amazing books you can borrow for free. Great service. Thanks. The session should be a little longer. I don't have time for anything. It looks like I don't have time for anything in this small session.
Yeah.
Thanks for your understanding. It is despicable.
It's strange, 'cause
Right,
the-
kind of, yeah.
Right, the
Should be
sessions are too
longer,
long,
but
I
I
don't
don't
have
have
any
time. Yeah, it's
time
kind
for
of
these small
conflicting.
sessions.
It is despicable that the Monroe Village has changed 3 parking spots in front of the library to be metered parking. Shame on the village.
Despicable. We can use that
Let me make a
word.
copy of that. In my 62-year-old existence, I have never experienced such a diamond like that of Mr. Mike at the Monroe Free Library. In a world of customer service in humans, which has become extinct like the dinosaurs, Mr. Mike has resurrected such. Mr. Mike not only CPR and defibrillated my nerves, I was provided beyond first-class service. Mr. Mike is caviar, one of a kind. undisputed champion.
This is my thing.
The undisputed champion of all libraries. Simply put, nobody does it better. Wow.
Whoa.
Mike,
I
right?
guess
Yeah.
he's the goat.
Homage to Mr.
I guess so. Speaking of Mike, I wanted to mention that Mike and Sam are currently looking for board members to interview for their podcast. It's a quick 15-minute thing. They
Oh,
asked you,
fun.
yeah, Pat did it.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, let me know and I will pass along your information.
Never pass up an opportunity to talk, right?
And then last but not least, as you know, in October, we had our annual yard sale, which I thought was, as always, a success. Joanne, how did we do? How did we do this year, Joanne?
I made 1,000. I raised 1,000 for them.
And what was your goal?
What's your goal?
What was your goal?
5.
5.
Wow.
So she doubled her goal.
Joanne is the goat of yard sale.
No, it was a great turnout.
She's gonna run the one at mine.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the spring. I'm definitely gonna participate again in the spring. So, and that is the long-winded director's report.
Well, there was a lot of spread in
There
the
was a
middle.
lot of
so
discussion. Yes.
It wasn't direct.
Yes.
Okay, so, the treasurer's report.
We'll keep it short, sweet, and simple, because I already ran through it. Expenses for the month were 104,000, right in line with what we would expect. Overall, we're 75% of the way into the year. We're 70.3% of the way through our budget. So we are tops. Mary, thanks as always. Everything looked great with the warrant audit. So with that, I make a proposal that we accept the September financials as proposed.
I'll go a second, Dave, seconds, all those in favor?
Any discussion?
All
Any
right,
question? Keep it rolling.
unanimous. All right, so now we have the reports of the standing committees and Diane has the 2 candidates and I'd like to recommend right now that we go into executive session for a few minutes.
For the
Okay.
purpose of discussing Crystal.
Yes,
Second
Thank you.
motion.
all right, all those in favor? All right, we're gonna just,
We are stopping the session as of 8:20.
Yes.
and we will be back short.
Don't miss us too much.
Watch the wires.
Gonna watch it. What's it gonna do?
I'm always freezing in here, which is why I've got a long sleeve shirt and a.
How you doing, Mary? Okay, how are you? Good, tired. I remember.
And the person who runs the event went to take some pictures and trip. Right at the beginning of this, of the garage. She had to leave. Oh, still.
I will probably leave early because I wake up very early. When I say very early, I do mean very early.
Almost, yeah, let's get a move on.
I'll go and, like, when it's like 18 to 9, I'll say 29. No, go, no, it's 18. to 9.
Yes, so they're literal. Yes.
Oh, I don't do it.
Why didn't you?
No.
That's my chair.
We do not.
It's always cold. in here.
It's the pause.
I sit near the window at home, and my husband is sitting there in sweats and a thermal sweatshirt over his shirt and saying, "Aren't you cold?" I'm sitting here in a sleeveless top.
That's like, that's when they talk about opposites attracting. All right, we came out of an executive session
8:40.
at,
8:41.
okay. Kathy, we would like to welcome you to the Monroe Free Library Board of Trustees.
Your chair up.
My antenna went up when I heard about these PD hours I have to do. I'm like, what is that?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
Well, it's very easy.
2 hours a year.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, and also you do have to do a sexual harassment.
Annually.
A sexual harassment training.
Oh,
Not a
I've
sexual
done it and
harassment.
I've been to
Yes,
different
right.
in New York City, but I don't.
Good.
It's an
good.
annual.
No,
I'll
do
do
it
it.
every year.
With,
Yeah.
no.
You don't have to vote.
Yeah, I think you do.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
So I'll-
I've been at the.
Well, yes, I'm gonna make a motion that, Monroe Free Library Board of Trustees,
Except
accepts the application of Kathleen or Kathleen.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
officially.
Officially, and welcome her.
Kathleen Bayer.
Bayer, what'd I say?
Just
You did.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Kathleen Bayer, and welcome her. And thank her for her service.
And then we all vote.
Motion.
Seconded.
I second.
Okay, Ned
When it wants to
second.
sound like pirates, say aye.
You're spending too much time with your kids.
Never.
We just covered that
Right.
before you
Yeah.
arrived. You know I haven't.
I circled the block to find parking because all of the library spaces were filled because nobody wants to get a ticket.
See,
So
we're
it's
changing
you're
our
you're the one that's gonna get it.
No, it's not after 6
Oh,
o'clock.
okay,
It's-
all right. All right, let's pay
Thank
attention
you.
here, crew, so
So-
we can get out of
And
here.
I was just gonna say, Kathleen, you'll get a email address.
You get a file.
We'll try to find a
Bookmark.
book, the,
Bookmark.
no, the
Rules,
I
regulations.
can send you the e-version of the bylaws, and then,
Yeah.
what did you mention?
I'll
The
follow up with
trustees.
you. I'll get your
You
email
have
set
to
up.
do stuff to your
um,
computer too.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you. I'll get your email set up. I'll send you the link to
Yeah,
the
and I
handbook, the
just
trustees
had some-
handbook. And then if you want, at some point, you and I can meet and we can discuss some other things just to kind of get you acclimated and up to speed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be away till the 3rd of November, but after that.
Feel free.
But thank you, Olivia.
Well, thank you.
All right.
so much.
Yes, we're very happy to have you on
No, we
board.
really
You
are
bring up-
happy.
You've got a lot of great qualifications. that We're
Oh.
happy to be able to take advantage of. And a lot of, don't think that we're going to overload you. We're not, but just to
But
know that
you'll be on the fundraising committee.
everybody's on the fundraising committee, so don't worry. And we haven't done anything.
So
All right.
if you actually have ideas for that,
Oh,
you'll
we'd
be the most welcome person in the world.
This is
Well,
so
can
true.
I ask one quick question about
Oh,
that?
sure.
Does anybody do like grant writing or?
We have a committee that doesn't
Too much.
do much.
But Amanda did put the grant in.
Well, we
Okay.
would like, if that's your
That's your forte.
interest.
That's
and
your,
forte,
yeah, that's your
No, I've
passion.
done it in the past. It's not, it's just, I was just curious.
That's wonderful. Yeah,
That's
we can
wonderful.
use you. but-
You'll
in
be
that
great.
capacity.
No, you're definitely not the chair of that department.
We need a new chairman and,
Can I ask a question? Is this
All
a
right.
full term or is this completing somebody who
I think
resigned.
you have to, I think you have to fill an unfilled term before you can,
Okay.
I
So
think-
that
I
would
think
be
it's the
Carol's,
opposite.
you
right?
think what?
It would be either John Fontana's slot.
Right, you have to
Um,
fill an
you fill-
unfilled term before you can take start
brand
a
new.
full term,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, I
Am
agree.
I
Yes.
up? I've been doing this since
So I think
2020.
No, no, we'll have to look.
We'll have to go.
We'll have to go through it, yeah.
Um,
So
so
they
then
will
we'll
have
have
to
to
still
It would
be
probably be John Fontana's, right?
position.
And let me just say for, the benefit of the whole board, but also, the staff members in the audience, that Carol Connell, Carol Connor has resigned from the board because of health reasons. So we're gonna miss her.
Yeah.
She, hung in there when she had a lot of issues that made it difficult for her to fill her obligations, but she always did her best, and she's a lovely person that it's a loss for the board. So I just want to make that statement. And we're happy again to have Kathy joining us. So we have a more full board
Here, here.
again.
Thank you so much.
As we examine those.
Okay,
good point, Mary.
building and grounds.
Hold on one second, when we look at which positions are open,
Yeah.
should probably just have her backfill whichever one is open the longest.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
Yeah, yeah, that would be, I think John's,
Yeah.
yeah,
So next month. we're gonna
'Cause
put it
John-
there.
Okay.
John Rhea, the nice. name.
We put it there.
Okay, building and ground, right?
Yes, building and grounds.
Anything other than what you already mentioned?
No, that's taken care of. Bylaws, there's nothing, that, Carol do bylaws? No,
No.
Terry does bylaws,
Oh,
but you know, there hasn't been any changes, so, or updates. Finance,
Nothing.
fundraising, grants,
Nothing until Kathy takes over.
Although we did have.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes,
Oh,
we did
Amanda,
have the-
put in the
about
construction grant.
yes, yeah, which is separate and,
Tentatively approved.
yeah,
50%.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, that's right, you were here.
Yeah,
She mentioned
I
it earlier.
was driving
Yeah.
around the block looking for a parking place.
We have all that lawn across the street.
Oh, you know, somebody on Monroe Manor said, well, why don't you pave over that? I
Plant
love,
paradise and put it in parking lot.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Wait, let's do that.
Okay, library operating, that, Carol was the head of that, committee. That
This could
might
be our
be-
fundraising.
If you could have someone take that over, because we do have some policies that need to get. approved,
Okay, yeah,
needed.
we'll have to look at that.
Yeah,
There was one that was in the process of.
internet policy, which is done, you guys just need to approve it. So,
Is that
Internet usage.
pre or post the changes that we had to adhere to for the or not ILS, but for the network charges?
it's not happened yet.
Hasn't
That's
happened.
that's not gonna happen for a while. We
Okay.
have to meet with the organization that's gonna shepherd us through that process. So that's not gonna happen till next summer.
What is that?
It's gonna help us reduce our E-rate. We're gonna become compliant with like our internet filtering,
searches.
safe searching, and but not to the point where you're not limiting people's freedom for information.
These
But
are
you're-
clearly illegal.
Yes,
things that
but you're,
should not
yeah,
be
you're
done.
limiting these, you're blocking these things, and by doing X, Y, Z, the state gives you additional funds.
This is
Okay.
it's
Right.
like no bomb making information.
exactly
in the
right,
library.
child
Correct.
pornography
So,
stuff.
so
dark
we're gonna
web
start the
stuff.
process. Grace has already introduced that to us, and we've started the process, of we're all going to meet with this organization to learn about how that exactly works, because some people are concerned that you're gonna be limiting people's access to information. So it's important to know exactly how the filters work.
Those filters are there already, and not only that, those filters are even further up into the actual providers
Right.
themselves as well,
Yeah.
not even our CLS.
Right, it's a compliance thing though for New York State to
Sure,
get
of
that,
course,
to
yeah,
get that
to get the
funding,
money,
so like
yeah.
we have to demonstrate X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So more to come on that.
Makes me
Yeah,
think of a
but-
story from when I was working and the kids were doing papers for a
Mhm.
Spanish class on Sor Juana, who was a Spanish saint or a poet. and they couldn't get any hits because of the wanna part of it.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Did anybody hear about the library in Texas that took a children's book on slavery and moved it from history to fiction?
Oh, my God.
They received like,
Like formally or just Michelle?
no, formally said it had to be moved on the shelf. And there have been something like over 50,000 complaints registered about there. I mean, I have
These
the
people are talking
Wow.
about it.
it was
Yeah.
in the news. You'll probably see it.
So what I think I'll do is I will resend you the internet policy and then some of the other policy recommendation changes that we have for some of the
So
other.
what is it
policies.
that you need somebody to do to fill Carol's spot?
So what Carol did is we would meet to discuss the policy change. So typically our workflow has been the library staff has looked at the policy. We've talked about like, well, is this really happening anymore? What's different? What do we have to change? And we update it and then we would send our recommended changes to Carol. And then Carol would kind of massage it a little bit and kind of, do that. And then sometimes the operating committee would meet to discuss, and other times it would kind of just happen via email. And then we would bring it to the board for approval.
I'm happy to.
Oh,
stand
that'd
in.
be wonderful.
I'm
that's
not
right, yeah.
really doing anything specific.
Yeah, you'd be good at that
Okay.
too.
All right,
Thanks.
great.
And if I'm not, you'll make sure I am.
That's right. Well, because it's a matter of writing and rewording
Well,
and
and
things like that.
semantics and
Yeah,
stuff like that,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Miss Long Range.
Oh, yeah, the committee's been meeting many times via Zoom, and have come up with a plan for a focus group schedule. I'm curious to know, did it go off on the 16th?
I had two. It was kind of disappointing. I did get some positive data, but so I had two, and only 2 people from one focus group showed up where 8 people were signed up, and then one from the other group where 6 people were signed up. But I think something funny happened. So it was really interesting. I saw it on when we posted it on Facebook. It got 1 share, and then all of these random people signed up, and it looked like fake names. Yeah, like a bot. And so I looked it up in our system to see if it had library cards. Nothing. Then I just did like a sample, like I took one of the names and I said their name and Monroe. Nothing came up. Kind of bizarre. So I was like, okay, this is weird. So then the next day, after the focus group passed, I get one email from someone saying, I waited all day for that Zoom link. No. I waited all day for that Zoom link. I moved meetings, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Those meetings for-
So at first I was just like, oh, okay, that was interesting. Maybe we weren't clear. Okay. Literally like 2 minutes later, I get another email from someone else that had signed up. And I was like, it's kind of bizarre. 2 people pretty much at the same time asking me for the same thing. So I don't know. It just seemed a little fishy.
Somebody's screwing around.
I think someone was like fake signing up.
Absolutely.
So, but I will say that the slots are filling up. I
Oh,
mean,
good.
we had the town send it out again for us today. We got at least 6 more sign up. There's only 1 session that has no signups, but we're gonna send it out again. I'm gonna have Elizabeth do an email for it. I'm gonna see if the village will send it out again. I know it was on the agenda to be mentioned at the town board meeting
The
tonight.
town sent it
Yes,
out also.
exactly. Well, I asked them to resend it. So I'm hoping, and the names of the people that signed up, I recognize them.
Oh, good.
So I'm a little relieved in that sense. But it's not a bad idea to consider hosting maybe 1 virtual. I mean, we didn't even discuss that possibility.
Yeah.
You know,
why not?
So it might be something to
Could
think
be
about.
virtual, yeah.
Yeah,
You could even do more than 1, if you get a good turnout
right.
at different times.
Yeah.
like-
Well, I guess that when you're asking people to sign up, you need to ask them if they would do virtual.
Well, I think the way to offer it is we're offering this specific session as a Zoom.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you
that-
get a different vibe when you're sitting
Right.
down and talking to people.
Well, some people are
It's also about
Different thing.
timing. It's
Yeah.
also about a timing
Yeah.
availability thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I like that
that's
idea.
something for the committee to consider.
Yep.
And then, if we do that, then obviously we'll send out different communication about that. And then I will be going to the senior center in November to do a focus group with them. And then Sam is gonna be doing a focus group with the teens. So we are collecting data, and it's interesting. One of the sessions I was telling Pat has kind of turned into the elected official session, because it's Mia Dwyer signed up, Mary Bingham signed up, Chris Ekis signed up. So it's this like whole host of elected officials that all pick the same session.
Which one is that?
Are you doing the November, the October, or the November one?
Both.
I think it's mine.
Oh, you're
October
doing
29th.
October 29th? Yeah, then that's
In
the
the
case.
evening, yeah,
At 1:30?
no, in the evening.
Are you
I'm
doing
doing both.
You're
I'm-
doing-
I have
you're-
October 29th at 1:30.
Oh, then you have.
Then it's
Then
yours.
it's yours.
At 11.
Yeah, then there's your
Okay.
sessions.
Can I just interject here for the
But
sake
you're more
of
than welcome.
Kathy, who isn't aware of what we're doing?
Sure.
We, the long range planning committee is, getting opinions of the different constituencies and patrons in the community, because we need to enlarge the building. And, we're trying to get input from the community, from different people to get their ideas, and also to garner support for a project when we get to that point, which is not imminent. But, it certainly needs to be done.
Right.
So any questions about that?
No, I did see when it went out.
For the focus
group to
Yeah. But they did have some interesting information, but one thing that I captured, so the people that did show up were library users. And they did not know about enough. They knew some of the stuff that we were offering, but like they had a lot of moments where it's like, you should do this. And we're like, I sat there and I didn't say anything because I was the note taker, but I was like, well, we do this. And to me, that's a communication issue.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting observation, but they did have some great suggestions. I'm currently putting all the notes together and I'll share that when that's ready, but we'll see what the other groups have to offer. So interestingly enough, one person said, I know you need more space and you definitely need a bigger programming room, but don't build a new building. So that was kind of a
Tax dollars,
conflicting, it's kind of a conflicting comment though, so we'll see,
Still a concern from the,
Of course,
I
but
think a
that was
lot of times
interesting.
people want more, but they don't want change.
Correct, I mean,
Hey,
yeah,
That's
so I'm excited to see how the others go.
Is there an opportunity to take some of those, like, as you just said, you were the note taker, so you had to talk up, but.
Yeah,
Um,
I did at the end. So
Okay.
Jen,
but
Park,
maybe if they have that question and we're using them as like an indicator of the community, other people might have that question. That might be something that we
Right.
should consider.
well,
publicizing.
yeah. So Jen Park, when she finished, she asked me if I had anything to add. And then at that point, I kind of self-identified myself and I said, I'm the director, blah, blah, blah. Like I knew who they were, but they didn't really know who I was. And I didn't touch on everything because I didn't want it to feel defensive, but I talked to them and I asked them questions and I explained to them, well, we do offer XYZ and how are you getting your information? Interestingly enough, two of the people said, I go specifically to your website for information, which is interesting. And then I asked them, are you seeing our ads in the photo news? And I'm like, oh yeah, we see your ads in the photo news, which is nice because there's no return on investment in that other than people saying, hey, I saw your ad, So I think that's just a big thing of how to get our information across to more people
Yeah.
differently. I mean, we're doing all the things. Like, I don't know how else we could be communicating it to them, but yeah, I think that was one of my biggest takeaways is that our library users are still struggling to find out what we have to offer.
I think that's
No.
been an eternal problem. always.
So too, I
Because
think,
people don't pay attention.
yeah, I think so too, but I think it's not something that you should just let
It's not
go. I
on
think-
our end,
Yeah,
it's just they're busy and they're not paying attention to the ads.
Right,
Yeah,
So-
and maybe they don't need that particular service at that
Right.
point, so they just go.
right, it just goes like a.
Yeah.
So, there's other things that were interesting too, but those were like the big ones.
Yeah,
So
the
more to
thing
come.
that kills
Yeah.
me is they want more room for programming, but they don't want more space.
I think it's hard for them to imagine what that looks like. I think if once we present them with opportunities, they might reconsider. You never know. You never know. I
Oh.
think the data we collect will be more valuable from the survey. I think the survey will get a lot of
Yeah.
data. People will be more inclined to participate in the survey because it's online and they can do it rather quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we talked about, like the
Yeah.
focus group gives you
the
input that you
broad-
then
yes,
use in the
use it
survey.
to
It's
narrow
not
it,
that you
yeah.
rely on the focus group to be making
No,
decisions. Yeah.
no, yeah.
Okay. Public relations, we don't have anything. We don't have any special or ad hoc committee reports, old business, professional development. Anybody take any courses?
I took two. I took running your referendum, which was a lot of like fundraising and building awareness topics like this kind of that we're talking about here. But we're already doing a lot of these things. I think it tended to focus more on like developing mailing lists, creating touch points, things like that, and then fiduciary responsibility. So
It's
it's not-
good for you.
Well, I will say that this was so much more affordable than we thought it was gonna be.
That is so
And it's great.
nice.
Isn't it
It's visually
that
impactful.
I think that I think we could do this on a larger scale to really push something else.
Well, you could
So,
have a card listing
right,
stuff.
like, we
Services.
don't necessarily have to push this out to just new people. I mean, this is
Yeah.
a nice new
Right.
thing. But I think because it was so, and Vista printed the whole thing, we sent them the list, we sent them the graphic, they did everything for
Oh,
us.
wow.
We mailed it out, and we mailed one to ourselves so we can see what it looks like. So I foresee this being something that we can do a little bit more.
Push before the election.
Well, that's why we got this out before the election. I wanted to get this out before the election for that purpose.
I
So,
mean, like, can we get
Again?
another one out?
Probably,
And again, with the back of the ballot,
Today's,
probably.
Today's
Your ballot.
21st.
yeah,
So
we
we,
started.
right.
yeah, but I just mean, if we can get this
They're
out
running
for the
out
next
because
week,
it's a Proposition 1.
Yes.
I just mean, if we're able to get another
Okay.
one like this out in the next week with some of those other listing services to
Right.
show how valuable we are. It's not a
Yeah.
big financial lift. I'm in support of it, but obviously we can't put anything on there that says this is for,
Right.
you know, like vote this
Well, you're
way.
just trying to bring
Well,
it to the
awareness.
attention of the public.
Right, I was surprised to see that Walden Public Library, they put their proposition information on their social media page. I was surprised to see
Did they
that.
say how you should vote
No.
on it? They just said,
They just
be aware that
They
it is
just
there.
said the library's going up for a proposition, blah, blah, blah. And then, interestingly enough, it said vote, didn't say how to vote, it just
Agreed.
said vote,
Yeah.
which you're
I
not
think,
persuading
I
people to do
think
it
we're
either way.
allowed to do that.
Right.
Yeah, so I.
You're also allowed to say flip the ballot.
Yes.
Which is what we do, which is what we do
What did
already.
you say, Kathy?
You're allowed
You're allowed to
to
say flip the
ballot.
ballot. A lot of people just don't.
Right,
What happened was that we ran with that like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we ran with flip the ballot, and everybody flipped the ballot, but there was already signs saying vote no
no
on
on
the back.
X, Y, Z.
So everybody just voted no on everything on the back.
Well, interestingly enough, our
I think it
proposition,
would have been on there.
interestingly enough, our proposition doesn't have a number this year, which is bizarre to me. And I reached out to the Board of Elections. I haven't heard back from them. I've emailed them twice. I'm gonna give them a phone call tomorrow. Because what's interesting to me about it is that our proposition didn't have a number, Tuxedo's proposition didn't have a number. Chester's proposition had a number, which was kind of weird to
Are they a
me.
different structure in the
No,
library, like are they
no,
within the public?
yeah, well, I don't know.
Like, I
don't-
mean, like how
well-
we're association library.
Well,
they're
they're
public, so-
doing 414.
I
So
mean, So
I,
were we, so we should.
right, so I emailed them to find that, like, and I don't know if that's gonna be a big deal, but like last year, when we sent our email out, vote, flip the ballot, the library's proposition 3, like, we told people what our proposition was. This year, we can't tell them anything.
Because
It's gonna be very confusing.
controversial.
Exactly, but I think it's gonna be confusing, because I had
I
a
would
panic
find it
attack.
controversial. It's very.
I had a
controversial.
panic
I mean,
attack when I
because
looked at
the-
it because I
Mhm.
thought our proposition to get on the ballot. I thought that it was just the Spanish version of Prop 1. Because there was no prop number on it. So I was like, oh my God, it did get on. And then I zoomed in and I was like, oh no, it's there. So I'm concerned that
yeah.
people are gonna think that's just what it is.
And usually it's proposition 1 straight
Yes.
across. then
Now it's
proposition
divided
2,
side by
now
side.
side by side, and there's really no separation
No.
between proposition 1 and
No,
then.
there is,
There's a
there is.
line,
I-
there's
because
the
I have
line.
I have my
Yeah.
balance.
There is,
Yeah.
it's so strange.
It does.
It
It's gonna
is
be
strange.
confusing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very confusing.
Okay.
It is, it's hard enough to.
So I'm gonna,
Make it complicated.
I know, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something, but I don't know what, I know what else to do. I mean, at this point, they're all, people are voting next week, right? This week or whatever, so. I don't know.
Saturday.
Today.
Yeah, the 26th, right? So, but we'll do our best to kind of just create awareness.
That early voting at the poll stations like that, if it's not your normal district, are you still able to like go to town, like to
Yeah.
the town
Yeah.
hall?
Yes, because it's early voting, you can go
Yeah.
to town hall, because that's
Even
the
though it's
only
not-
early
It's just
voting.
that town.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only one doing early voting.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
All
Okay, new business? Nope, all right, good and welfare? Nope, all right.
Going to Florida?
Yes,
When are you coming back?
the 15th of November.
I have a question about the next meeting, which is November 11th, which is a holiday.
Or 18th.
It's a holiday.
Yep.
So
Veterans
so then
Day.
it gets pushed down to the third Monday of the
Okay.
month.
So it'll be the 18th, not the
Correct.
11th.
Yeah.
I think it says on the bottom, yeah.
The 18th of November?
Yeah, it says
Yeah.
next board meeting is November 11th.
I'll be
Veterans
back,
Day.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I
I'll
didn't,
still
I
be
thank
here.
you for picking up on that, I didn't.
The library is closed, but so they're only working on the front half of the library. This space will be open. So like there's no action going on here. So you guys can still access. And when we notify the public about it, we can just tell them to use the back entrance of the library for the meeting.
And is it always?
Okay, so are we
Yes.
leaving it on the 11th or are we?
No, you always push it to the third
Right, right.
Monday when it's a holiday.
Okay, thank you for catching that, Diane. And I'm glad to know I'll be back for it. Okay, so can we have a call for adjournment?
Make a motion.
All right, all right. Casey and Netta, all those in favor?
Sorry,